Okay, here we go. Hello, anybody watching this? My name is Dustin Valenti. I am 18 years old and I am a proud graduating senior of New Canaan High School. And welcome to my diary, the diary of a teenage drag queen. So, let's start from the beginning when I was a beginner. Um, my the story that I kind of want to tell, which is the story of my high school experience, but also just my general experience as uh, an openly proud queer person of color coming from a town that maybe oh, sorry, there's a ginormous mosquito. Oh my god. Oh my god, it scared me. Um, I'm keeping that in. That was funny.
Icebreaker.
Yeah, a nice icebreaker. Just to so you get to know my personality. What was I saying? Oh, I am a proud, openly queer person. I'm a Hispanic person, living in a town that is not when at face value it does not really seem like it's the most open town for people like me to thrive in, and it's not. Right off the bat, I'll say that it's not. And the school climate that I went through with New Canaan High School and middle school, it was not easy being a person like me. But I hope people in the future hear this. If anybody hears this other than the person listening to this to give me a grade, it would mean a lot for me if if my story means anything to anybody else who has a similar situation.
You should also mention
Mm-hmm.
it was hard enough being the child of a divorced couple,
Right. And
let alone
yeah,
Hispanic and queer.
yeah. Being a child of divorce, while it is really a normal quote unquote thing nowadays, because what's the percentage? Like 60% of people?
66%,
Yeah, in America, or is it America? Yeah. Um, 66% or whatever the exact numerator denominator is of however many people are divorced in America. Being a child with divorce made it a lot harder, on top of being a queer person. But I was a child with divorce before I knew I was a queer person. But that is important. Comes into the story later on. So, introduction. I'm going to start this off with a quote by RuPaul Andre Charles. This is a quote that speaks volumes to me, and I think it should to anybody who listens, if anybody does, and I hope they do. Um, you weren't born to fit in, you were born to stand out. Just kind of let that sink in. That quote means a lot to me because there are so many people. The town that I grew up in, which is New Canaan, Connecticut. Um, I feel like I always felt like I was an outsider looking in because that town is so very cookie cutter.
homogeneous.
Yes, homogeneous. It's like everybody has their, from an outsider's perspective, um, everybody has their perfect little suburban lives and their perfect suburban families. And and you know what? That's not true for everyone, obviously, because I live here and there are countless other people that I'm friends with now that live here. But I almost felt like when I heard that quote for the first time. Oh God, that mosquito. When I when I heard that quote for the first time, I got angry because I felt like, okay, Rue, um, you're born to stand out, not to fit in. But I almost feel like I was put at a disadvantage because I was born already standing out, and not I never had really the chance to fit in. And for so long, that was something that I wanted. It was I wanted to fit in. I wished I wished that I had porcelain skin and that I lived in a perfect family where my mom and dad loved each other and I had the perfect little family and a white picket fence and a big old mansion with a big pretty yard and a pool out back. And I just wished I was like all the other kids, or most of the other kids in my town. And come to find out, I was not like that. And now looking back on it, I see that quote and I'm realized, wow, I'm so lucky that I I do stand out, because now I realize it's harder for people born in the cookie cutter to break out than it is to be born different like I am and like people in my situations are. So I feel lucky, but at the time it was a struggle. All right, so let me just I'm gonna start off from when I first knew that I was gay, or that I knew that I was queer in, I think, 7th grade. My best friend Madison and I, we kind of we understood each other on like a level that, it's just like it's more than family. And all my friends would be like, oh, why don't you date? You're so close, blah, 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 this, that, and the other thing. And I was like, it's not, I don't feel that. I don't feel that. And so for the longest time, I would tell my friends, oh, I'm bi. I'm bisexual. Which was not true, obviously. And I had to kind of keep that lie up. In my head, I think I knew that I wasn't, because I was never really attracted to girls in that way. But I don't know, I kept saying it until I really believed it. And I believed it so much that I ended up dating a girl, middle school dating, mind you, in in 8th grade. And it went on for so long that we hung out together and we were cuddling, and I didn't feel that attraction. I recognized that she was a beautiful girl, but I was just like, there's nothing, like I don't feel it in my organs. Like I don't have butterflies or anything. Like I I I didn't have the real attraction for that girl. And I told her, and she was so mad. She was furious. I said, I'm not going to say her name, because that's not what I'm here to do. I'm here to tell my story. I said, hey, so and so, I think I'm gay. Please, don't take it the wrong way. It's not you, it's me, whatever. But yeah, I told her, and she was so furious. She was mad at me, like angry. And so she and I fought. We had this big long text fight. I remember I was on vacation in Maine. It was winter vacation. And I was at the dinner table in this restaurant, and we were just having this text fight. And I was just like, this is insane. This is crazy. This is stupid. And I come back from vacation, and all my friends are mad at me because she told them all that I was gay. So I was essentially outed. I never had the chance to come out, to have my beautiful big moment, or whatever it is. I was outed by this girl who I trusted enough to date, and then she went and did that. So that sucked. And I've always had trust issues being a child of divorce, because growing up I would always hear my parents say, like, oh, your parent said this, oh, well, your parent said this, whatever, back and forth. I never really knew what the truth was coming from them. But when that happened, and none of my friends really were on my side except for Madison, it was awful. It was like, daggers in my back. Nobody really sided with me, and nobody, whatever.
Everybody dropped you. Your guy friends dropped you.
Yep.
And you had a lot of girlfriends who were mad at you because I think they had crushes on you, and you had different relationships with them when you were younger. And everybody all of a sudden was mad at you for being who you are.
Yeah.
And that's not a crime.
Nope. It's not. It shouldn't be seen as one, but for the longest time in America, obviously it was. And it is still in other countries, unfortunately. But I was outed against my will. I never really had that time to come out, which is honestly one of my... It's not an insecurity for me, but I just wish I had that memory, because a lot of queer people have the beautiful memory of coming out and being accepted by their friend group and whatever. And I was outed in such a negative light, and all of my friends left me, except for Madison. Really, it was terrible, and it honestly wasn't the darkest moment of my life, because we'll get to that. That comes in quite a while, a couple years after that, but it was terrible. So, moving on from that. Being that I now knew that I was a gay kid. I wasn't really a teenager yet. The freshman year comes. My friends are kind of like, they're slowly moving back to me, I guess. But I was really, Madison and I were like this. I just did that thing, that thing that indicates that you're tight, where you cross your finger, and your index finger and your middle finger. I just did that. We're like that. So that summer right after freshman year. Hated freshman year. It sucked. No offense, New Canaan High School.
You should explain your freshman schedule.
Oh God, it was awful. Well, okay, I went to an alternative school. I went to a magnet school for half the day. For the first half the day, I was at New Canaan High School. And then right after lunch, I would go in a bus, one of those vans that says carrying school children, and CPS, and they would drive me all the way up to Trumbull to the school, Regional Center for the Arts, and it was a performing arts based high school, magnet school, and it was super fun. I got to do a focus on musical theater, which at the time was my passion, and it was great, but it was so stressful. I would get home, I would be completely beat. I would be like dancing and singing for so long. I'd get home at like 5 after a long day at school.
Later, 6:30.
Yeah.
Sometimes when you had rehearsals 8, 9 o'clock at night.
Yep.
And then the next day you had to be at New Canaan at 7:20.
Mm-hmm. So I got really no sleep. You know what I would do? There is this little pocket under the staircase near the lunchroom. I would go there and I would sleep, because I didn't really get a night's sleep, because I would have to stay up doing homework or stay up procrastinating and not doing homework. And yeah, so that was my schedule for freshman year. Ever since I was a kid, I was always fascinated with creativity. I remember when I was little, I wanted to be a cartoonist. And then I was like, I don't know, I kind of fell out of love with it. And then I did theater, and I was like, oh yeah, this is what I love. But I hated being a character. I'm making a point with this. So keep that in mind. I loved cartooning, and I loved designing, I loved drawing, and I loved performing. Summer freshman year rolls around. Madison and I are in Spain. We're in, that sounds so bougie. Oh, we were in Spain. We were in a hotel in Madrid, and Madison, who's very
Well, you should explain that you're in Spain because your grandparents live in Spain,
mm-hmm.
and you go there every summer.
Okay. Every summer I would go to Spain because my grandparents lived there, as you just heard, and we would we visit every summer. It's like one of the things I look forward to.
While the rest
every
of
year.
New Canaan goes to Cape Cod. You go to Spain.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So yeah, every summer I go to Spain. Madison, one fateful day, we're in a hotel in Madrid, and we're in bunk beds, and she's below me, and she's like, I'm gonna start watching RuPaul's Drag Race. Mind you, I have no idea what that is. In my head, I'm imagining the cartoon, I forget what it is. It's called like Speed Racer or something from like the 1990s, 80s, 70s? Hanna-Barbera.
80s, yeah.
And I'm like, okay, whatever, you do you. I take a nap. I wake up later to the sounds of gay screaming by drag queen contestant on RuPaul's Drag Race season 6, Laganja Estranja. I wake up to that and I'm like, what is she watching? I go down to the bed. I watch with her. I'm instantly in love. And later on in that trip, I kind of realize I love designing. I love cartoons. I love this, that, and the other thing. I love performing. And I could never find the happy medium until now. I'm like, is this what it is? Is it drag? And, well, obviously, here I am now. So, yes, it is. So I guess that's the introduction of how I knew I wanted to be a drag queen. Later that year, it's sophomore year starts up again. Our school starts up again. It's sophomore year. I still go halfway to RCA, halfway to New Canaan High School. I get no sleep. I spend most of my time in that pocket under the staircase, sleeping. And on Instagram, I discover that there's online drag competitions modeled after the RuPaul's Drag Race format. And that for young drag queens who can't go out and perform or anything. And I'm like, I want to do this. This is how I'm going to get my start. So I sign up for a competition. It starts in like March or whatever. Madison signs up for it too. I think she was kind of only really there to support me though. She didn't really care about it as much as I did. And so I'm in the thick of it. That is where I got my real start on an Instagram competition called Drag House Race. I was on the 3rd season of it, started in like 2017 or something. It's my passion. But the thing about it is I have so much love and drive for this that I'm putting all my energy into it, and I'm losing all my motivation for school. Because in my head, being a drag queen was the only thing that mattered because it was the only thing I really cared about. I didn't really spend time with friends or anything. All my friends, the ones from RCA that either lived in Trumbull or Bridgeport or Fairfield or places around there that I couldn't drive there. I couldn't have my parents drive me 30, 40, 50 minutes just to see my friends. I would only see them during the day at RCA. And my other friends, they were still iffy about me being gay. And now that I'm a drag queen, they don't really know what to think of me. Except for Madison. And so I do this competition. It takes up like half of my senior year, maybe. No, less than that, honestly. It's a couple months.
Not your senior year.
I mean, sophomore year, excuse me. And I keep pushing through. And it goes on for like 10 weeks or so or something. And I end up winning the whole thing. And the teen queen community, they're kind of like, who is this new person, whatever. Granted, I was still a baby queen. I didn't even know how to, I looked a hot boo-boo mess. I won because it was a baby queen competition. Anyway, whatever. I win the whole thing, and I keep just growing, and I keep pushing, and all I care about is drag. I don't care about school. I don't care about RCA. I don't care about New Canaan High School. I just care about drag. And obviously, not a good thing. Had to learn how to multitask. But I realized that my drive is so strong for drag that me going to RCA, it feels redundant. I feel like I'm wasting my time. It's like, I don't want to do theater anymore. I don't care about theater. All I care about is drag. So at the end of sophomore year, I chose not to go to RCA. And
meanwhile, you were the lead in all the plays.
Yeah.
They were waiting for you to come back to be the lead, and your singing was incredible, and bringing down the house, in the shows that you're doing.
Mm-hmm. And I left.
And you left.
And honestly, to this day, I still feel like that was the right decision.
It was.
But it was one of the hardest decisions, definitely the hardest decision I had to make at that point in my life. So junior year starts up, and I have to learn how to integrate myself back into the New Canaan High School, the New Canaan community. These are kids I grew up with, but I don't even know them. and they don't want to associate with me. It's like, that's, or in my head, they just think that's the weird gay kid that sleeps under the staircase. You know, that's the cross-dresser that nobody really cares about. And at the end of sophomore year, or at the beginning of sophomore year, excuse me. No, at the end of sophomore year, my bad. Madison moves away to Montana. So I'm alone. I have to learn how to navigate my way through this new school, a new environment, all kids I don't really know. They don't really give a, I almost said a naughty word. They don't care about me. They don't know me. They just know me as that creepy kid or whatever. And whatever. I'm doing more competitions. I'm getting more and more wins. People are learning my name. They're like, Delylah Wylde, Delylah D. Wylde, Delylah Wylde. She's the internet, yeah. She's the up and coming girl in the teen queen community on Instagram. And it feels great. When I'm online, I felt like I was a freaking demigod. I was like Hercules or something. I was Kratos. I was Loki. I don't know.
What about when they called you into the city to be in that book?
Yeah. My name is getting so big. This woman who, her name is Miss Candy, who did something for World of Wonder, the show that produces Drag Race, RuPaul's Drag Race. She says, "Hey, I'm looking for teen or baby drag artists," is what she called it. And I reach out to her. I do the whole shebang. I meet her in person. We do a photo shoot, a real like actual professional photo shoot. My first ever. Yep. In Manhattan, in her studio. It was like amazing. It was crazy. I literally felt like I was a Rue girl. I'm in this book. I'm in a published book. I'm in a published book, Baby Drag Artist, the year 2016, 2017, 18? I don't know. I think it's 2018.
Yeah, I think it's 18, yeah.
2018 Baby Drag Artist calendar. I'm in that published book. I mean, like, that's Delylah Wylde. That's my legacy at that point so far.
Your fashion, though, it's clothes that you created.
Mm-hmm.
It's your makeup. Mm-hmm. It's your style, and you tell a little bit of your story.
Yeah.
So it's everything that you're talking about, going full circle to your cartoon, your creativity, your character.
It's everything I want. It's everything I wanted when I was a kid. It's the happy medium, and everybody, and I'm like a star online, and in person, I'm a husk. I'm a husk of a person.
Good line.
I'm literally this dirty kid sleeping on the ground under a staircase. Still sleeping there because my sleep schedule's ruined from the previous years. And also going there to hide because I was scared. I was scared of interacting with these kids I don't know. It's terrifying. It's terrifying for me. And when I was younger, I was like a social butterfly. But it was so terrifying because I know that these kids are judging me. I mean, why should I care? But I do. Obviously, I'm a teenager. What do I know? All I know is what is online, and all I care to see is the things that I love and that I'm passionate about. But moving on in the year, I'm kind of making friends. You know, I'm in. Special shout out to Michael Joshi, my junior history teacher, and Ellen Fitzpatrick, my junior English teacher, and Emily Bacon. She was never actually my teacher, but she was such a great role model for me because she was my girl. I was just like hang out with the teachers. And Mr. Joshi was like such a great teacher, and he was such a nice person, and like honestly such an amazing father figure. Speaking of father figures, this brings me to my uncle, my dad's best friend. Not my actual uncle, but like my honorary uncle. You know that thing? Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Uncle Nino, one of the greatest, wisest people I have ever had the privilege of knowing and privilege of calling family. He was really like a genuine second father figure to me. I've known him since I was however young.
5?
Yeah, 5 maybe, which was right when my parents got divorced. I was 5, and I've known him forever. And I have the deepest memories of. He taught me pretty much so much about like marine life, and we would go clamming together. And I have this. There's this picture of me and him sitting on a dock, washing clams with those little with
Scrub brush,
a
yeah.
scrub brush. We would
That you
wash them
bought
off, and then
for
he'd
me.
cook them. And he was amazing. Middle of junior year, I'm in 2 of the most popular drag race drag competitions on Instagram. One is on Instagram, one's on YouTube. The most popular ones, the most difficult, grueling challenges I'd ever have to do, and I've ever done. Like so hard, and everybody in the teen queen community is watching me, and I'm in the middle of junior year doing my junior research paper. It's the hardest moment for me as a drag queen and as a student, and just when I'm in the grind zone, Uncle Nino passes away. And it's like, I think I felt like I was in shock. I was like, I still don't believe it. Like, there's part of me that still just genuinely does not think it's possible for him to be gone. Ooh, I need my water. I'm getting a little bit emotional here.
55 years old.
He was 55 years old, completely healthy, and he just like that.
Caught a weird virus, and 2 weeks later was dead.
It was crushing.
If it happened today, they would have said it was coronavirus. Like, that's what happened. That type of thing that happened to him.
Yeah. And still to this day, we don't even know what it was. Some kind of virus, but it was. That was the most difficult part of my life, because I'm in a crossroads. I'm in the deepest part of the woods, and everywhere I look is just a fork in the road, in the path that I'm going on, because I'm like, and I'm in quicksand, because I have this sinking feeling of dread, like my Uncle Nino just died. And it's a sinking feeling of dread and guilt and grief that can completely swallow you whole if you don't move. And I don't know which way to go, because everywhere I look is just a fork in the road. It's like, do I cry my eyes out? Do I get no sleep? Do I run away? Do I do bad physical harm to myself or others? Do I lash out? Does my anger I don't know what to do with this feeling. And I have all of these negative emotions, and I'm in the middle of the 3 most difficult moments for me, which are in the middle of Queen's Purgatory, in the middle of Drag Showdown, and I'm in the middle of junior year. And I don't know what to do, so I just lead with I lead with my heart, and just like before, I prioritize my drag over my schoolwork, and I take that feeling of dread, all of that negative emotion, and I use it to fuel my art. And I don't think I've ever really spoken about this before. I've never mentioned my uncle's passing, because I didn't want to seem like I was looking for pity or anything, or I think I genuinely think, I don't think it has I think I was just, I don't know, because I was still in such disbelief. Anyway, I take all that negative energy and I use it to fuel my drag, and I just boost myself through these 2 competitions, and I end up at the top of both of them. I won them both. The 2 most difficult popular competitions on the internet, and I won them both using that negative energy. And
it's almost statistically impossible to win them both at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah. And I did that. I did that. That's part of Delylah Wylde's legacy.
Right.
And when it comes to junior year, I don't know what I'm doing because I used all of my energy already, and I'm flunking, and I'm kind of drowning in this sea of white, being a speck of rainbow and brown. I'm drowning socially. I don't have friends. And
other than on the internet, you don't have friends around you.
Yeah, I literally just live on the internet. I'm constantly on my phone, constantly on my computer, checking my DMs.
Friends in New Zealand, friends in
New Hampshire, friends in
California,
yeah. Friends in Chicago, no friends in New Canaan.
Right.
And I don't know what to do. The competitions are over. I'm a winner on the internet. I'm a star in my eyes, and in hopefully the eyes of others.
In the eyes of your community, the drag community.
Yeah.
But as far as school and college and rah-rah football and New Canaan rah-rah,
I'm nothing. Yeah. I'm still that husk. I'm that ghastly brown person that just kind of drifts from class to class. And I'm like, I have nothing. I realize that these are just like the online, as much as it is a positive reputation, it doesn't mean anything for college. College isn't going to look at my track record for Drag Showdown. College is going to look at my poo-poo butt grades in my junior classes. And I have no drive anymore because I'm out of that energy. Nino's gone. I've accepted it. I didn't shed a single tear because I used all that negative energy to fuel my drag. And I'm at a crossroads again. But there's no forks in the path. I'm just kind of sinking. And I talked to Mrs. Gleason, the choir teacher at New Canaan High School, and she says, "Why don't you do theater again? We need more boys for the spring show." And I was stuck wondering whether or not I should do it or not because I'm just, I'm not really known or cared about in New Canaan High School, and I'm like, I'm already a marginalized person being an unfortunately open queer brown person. I have nothing to lose. So I go and do it, and it was one of the best, most positive experiences I had at New Canaan High School. Was Legally Blonde. Everybody was so accepting and loving, and it was like a bubble of safety for me. And I didn't expect that. Not from New Canaan. I really didn't. I still kind of am in disbelief at the amazing theater program that we had. It's like a family. And I wasn't a husk anymore. People say hi to me in the hallways. People hang out with me after school.
You could be yourself at school. You could be Delylah at school. Your art, right?
Yeah. And like Delylah and Dustin are no longer two different people. They're me, and I'm expressing myself through theater and through my art, and I'm happy. I'm really happy. I have something to look forward to after school that's not on my phone. And it's amazing. And so junior year ends. I'm in a great place. Spend the summer with my new real friends that are my like real people that I see in person. Drag Showdown is airing. People online love me. People in the real world like me. And senior year comes around, and I kind of just blaze through senior year. I'm doing great in theater. I got the lead role in the play. All the younglings look up to me. I have a smile on my face in the hallways. I'm waving at people and they're waving back. I'm I, I'm spending my lunchtime in the lunchroom and not under a staircase. People really care. They want to see me. And I'm just blazing through the year. I'm doing great. I'm mentoring all the freshmen for theater, and we're doing Mamma Mia. We're 1 week before Tech Week, doing great. We're having a blast, and coronavirus hits, and all of my momentum comes to a halt. And I mean, I guess we're somewhat up to date, but
Virus again.
yeah,
This is like Nino all over again.
yeah, I'm sinking again, and I can't do anything about it anymore. I don't have any energy. I just blazed through my senior year. I did actually good in my academics, and I found that balance of my schoolwork and my drag and of Delylah and Dustin and theater and friends, and I'm right back, not where I started, but I'm in that valley again, and I'm like, what do I do? I need to do something, because if I sit here, I'm not gonna sit here and sink. So what I've been working on, I have organized a digital queer art cabaret, and I reached out to my friends online, and I have this platform, however little of a platform it is, it's still a platform. And I reach out to these amazing queer artists online, and I'm like, hey, I know you have nothing to do because you're stuck with COVID as well. Why don't you do this? And I organized this cabaret where I have about 6 amazing, talented queer performers doing what they love for the camera. And it feels like everything that I've done was worth it, because I'm doing something for my community, and not only for my community, because all the donations for this queer cabaret are going to the Black Lives Matter movement and to George Floyd, and all of the cast members agreed. I asked them, I was like, I told them I wasn't comfortable posting it at the time that I had all the footage because of the state of, the world, because it would seem selfish. But one of them suggested, why don't we just donate all the earnings? I mean, we don't need it. And so we're donating all the earnings for the, I've actually genuinely done something to affect the world. And it's, I'm having this epiphany right now. That moment when you're in that sinking feeling is the best opportunity to take action, because no matter what you do, you have nothing to lose, and you're always going to make the right decision as long as it's positive. So I'm here, and I'm happy again, and I obviously that's not my whole life story and all its defined details, but I guess my experience as a student at New Canaan High School, or I know my experience as a student in New Canaan school system is unique, and I stand out like a sore thumb, and I'm not afraid of that anymore, and I'm proud of myself, and I'm doing something to change the world, to change my future and the future of the world positively. And I'm not stupid. I know, I, I, I know that there are tons of people talking trash about me, even until senior year, because whatever, I'm the freak, I'm the cross dresser, and I'm the brown kid. But you know what? I don't care because I'm doing something that is gonna really actually, even if it's just a little, positively impact Earth.
Make a difference.
I'm making a difference.
What did you start with? What did Paul say?
And that loops right back to the quote. You were not born to fit in. You were born to stand out. And I stick out like a sore thumb, and I'm so proud of it. And honestly, if I hadn't gone through the integration process of me into the sea of white that is New Canaan High School, I wouldn't have had to make all the tough decisions that I did, and I probably wouldn't be affecting the world the teeny tiny little way that I am. So, I guess what I have to say is, you know what? Thank you, New Canaan High School. And I think that's a good note to leave it on. So I hope somebody listens to this, and if you were in the position or any similar position that I am or was in, just keep pushing. You are going to make it through. You have the power to change the world. Oh, God, I sound like...
It's true, though.
It sounds so cheesy, but it is
so
totally true.
Every one of us has that power.
Every single human on the world,
yeah.
not just marginalized queer people, straight people too. Yeah. Allies are so important.
No matter what your color, your religion, your sexual orientation, your socioeconomic background, we all have the power.
Yep. And that's on period poo.